G'day guys, Chris here again, the ultimate recycler in the emergency storage shed for another week. We should get rid of that shelf unit today. It's a momentous occasion. Every time we get to move a shelf unit out is a milestone. We have a few things down the bottom. We had some pretty interesting stuff in last week's episode, and we have a mystery box down there and also some other things that shouldn't take too long but are quite interesting. Let's have a look. Yeah, so here's the shelf we've got to get rid of today, and there is a cardboard box with tape over it. I don't know what's in that. I haven't looked. Timber box there with a couple of bigger items. I'm not sure what. And I think it's just a really large piece of iron. Don't know. Let's get it into the bench. We'll get the whole lot in because I want to make sure we get this shelf cleared today, and we'll uncover some more concrete, some more wall space. Have to work out what we're going to do with the shelf because I think I probably need it. My future restorations and projects along this shelf are starting to build up a bit. And I don't mind that they do. I mean, I've got to have something to do with the rest of my life. I'm looking forward to when the shop finally closes and I can spend a lot more time in the shed doing up things, repairing stuff, restoring, and just immersing myself in this save everything I can mentality and, you know, get a lot of nice old valuable things, bringing them back to life. One box, let's get the other ones. Oh, this is an old box and it's heavy and it's got some interesting stuff. And I was right with this piece, a large chunk of iron or cast iron perhaps, possibly the weight from a chaff cutter. Not sure, make a great doorstop, you'd never move the door. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I'm going to sell it. I don't have a use for it, but I don't know. Interesting piece. Okay, let's deal with these. Oh, we have some interest. This could have been more stuff I've put aside to eBay. Could be some very cool stuff in there. We'll get to that later. Yep, sorry to tease you like that. Here's a big piece of cast iron with a handle on it. So the old chaff cutters had some sort of weight set up. I'm not exactly sure. I must research that. But I know they used big weights for some purpose. So what do you reckon it weighs? Let's have a guess, and I'll put them in the comments and I'll report next video just for interest's sake. So I can lift it, but it is heavy. Okay, what was in this one? Well, good luck to us. We have a horseshoe. It's an old Clydesdale shoe. It looks like it's been buried. So decent old piece. Still got the remainder of the nails in it, so it's obviously been buried for a long time and they've rusted away. People like to buy these to put them over their front door. I believe it's supposed to bring luck, and you're supposed to have them that way because if you have them that way, the luck falls out. I think that's how the old saying goes. We should get $10 for that. I've had one of these once before and I can't remember what they are. It's like a rasp for filing, but I can't remember why they're in this shape. So if you remember, or if you know, put a comment down below. Pretty cool piece. Looks like it has a brand there. I'll clean it up and we'll have a look at that later. Don't know what I'm going to ask for it. I'll have to do a bit of checking, but probably $10, maybe up to 20. But I just don't remember what they are. Just an old hammer handle. I wonder if the head is in the box. It's a bit split this end. It doesn't look very good condition. It may just be firewood, but if I find a suitable old head, I could certainly use it. Now, speaking of hammers, this is not the hammer head for the last handle. This is a mallet. It's actually in pretty good condition with a couple of large rings. I think these were actually blacksmith applied. It's a very old piece. It would have been just a piece of branch hewn from the bush, probably trimmed back with an adze, and a blacksmith would have put the rings around each end, fashioned a handle to it, and I'm not sure what these large mallets were used for. A timber face, so you wouldn't bruise something if you were hitting it, or at least not too badly. Yeah, I'm not sure what these big mallets were for, but that's a nice piece. It's possibly worth my while finding an old broom handle that's a bit weathered just to put in there. It's like a croquet mallet on steroids. It's a beautiful big piece. Yeah, that's going to be worth a bit. We'll check the notepad at the end for what I decide to put on these things. Here we have an old puller, a very early one. Well, it looks like a puller. Forcing screw. These go behind a sprocket or a gear or pulley or something. But it looks blacksmith made. It looks very early. Maybe it was for pulling old wheels off machinery. Well and truly seized up. I'm not going to go into the trouble of freeing it up. I'll just wipe it down so it's not quite so dirty. We might just put, what, $10 or $20 on it? It's not going to be for use. We'll just put $10 on it in the shop. Nice old relic. Someone will hang it up in their shed. Okay, what's this? It looks like part of an old fuel tank. It looks to be copper or brass. So I'm not sure if that was off an early small engine or not. I don't know that it's going to have much value other than scrap. Although scrap's not going to be much. We'll weigh it up a bit later and see what I think it's worth for scrap. Not sure that it's all... Oh, it might be all brass. Even the bung is not attracted to a magnet. So we'll give it a little bit of a wash up. Be nice if it had some branding on it. But it's possibly just a homemade piece or an early produced piece for a small engine. It's not big enough to be a fuel tank. Honestly, don't know about that one. Could it have been something from an old charcoal gas producer, which they had on the sides of cars in the early days? Or maybe, I think it's too old to be World War II. It looks older than that. Don't know. Oh, that's the top of it. Okay, so it wasn't for liquid. Well, was it for liquid? So that's the top. You put something in there which you would assume wouldn't be a liquid, but maybe it was. And it drained something at the bottom. Yeah. Not sure on that one. A real mystery object. The last thing in this box is a long strap, tie-down strap. I don't have a use for that. We might just put $5 on that at the shop. It's got the hook on the other end, but nothing on this end. Don't know if it's worth $5, but it looks a pretty good one, and it looks quite a long one. And the box itself, I suspect this was actually like a ballot box. It had a lock on it. Oh, Shire of Waranga. Okay, yep. Very nice old dovetails, handmade. Looks to be a pine. So I'm pretty sure that would have been a ballot box. The back part's broken out, unfortunately. The lid's obviously gone. Not sure why it had a hole cut in that side. Yeah, a lot of character. I think that's probably going to be, yeah, it's in pretty good condition. It's not, hasn't got any borer, not badly rotted. Love the old dovetails. So I think I'll put $20 on that. Maybe 25, especially if it's someone kind of local. The Shire of Waranga won't exist anymore. It would have been incorporated into another Shire district. Nice old piece. It's a shame it's not in better condition. Now let's get into this box of treasures and see what's in here. I'm actually quite excited about this box because it's stuff that I considered to be exceptionally good stuff, and I packed it away years ago. Most of it will have codes on it from where I got it from. That really doesn't matter. That's a wooden yo-yo. Could even be homemade. So just a toy. Homemade timber toy, perhaps. Might be. It looks like it's made from some sort of ply. Yeah. Possibly works. I'm not going to demonstrate my dubious yo-yo skills on camera. I don't think it's worth a fortune. I wouldn't have thought the eBay item. Maybe that is branded. Maybe it was a commercially made one. I might have to check that out, but I'm thinking probably only $10. Wrapped up in some old newspaper here, we have some cars, model cars, die cast. It's a Chevelle station. Can't quite read the brand name. Is that Jabra or something? Not familiar with that. It looks a very 60s era. Not in bad condition, other than paint wear, but all the wheels are okay. And it's larger than your standard sized model cars. Oh, there's more of them. That's another one, almost the same. Tailgate folds down. Don't know if the doors open. I don't think they do. bonnet doesn't lift up, but the tailgate does. Oh, the other one does too. So they're the same. Very similar condition too. Here we have a red one that's missing the doors. Same brand, Ford Mustang. So, yeah, it's a shame the doors are gone. But they're a larger size than your normal model cars. And it looks like there's a fourth one. A white one. Again with the boot or the trunk, depending where you're from. And this is a Chevrolet Impala, made in Israel again. I'd say 1960s model cars. Very nice. I'm thinking at least $10 each, but I will check them out online. What's in this bag? I've labelled it Lee Enfield Target Sight. Approximately $300. I must have researched it back at the time. I vaguely remember doing that. So is it worth that? If it was worth that, is it still worth that? Looks in pretty good condition. I think it says Muse Special. Still got most of its bluing, which is what they do to metal, especially in rifles and that. It's a method of stopping them rusting. So various parts for it, a couple of screws. I'll certainly have to check that out online to see what it's worth nowadays. It might well still be a good eBay item, or if I can work out what I think's a fair price, I'll make it available in the shop or to you guys. Lee Enfield, I would be thinking, was that a 303? Might be back to World War I era. But if it's a target sight, it might be more recent. I don't know, I'm not a shooter. Right, we have... This box says a sight reflector. Looks military. Original box. So is that what's inside it, or maybe that's just the box and something else is inside it? Okay, it looks like it's the real deal. Okay, it's a gun sight, reflector gun sight. So that would have to be military, surely. And geez, it's well packaged. So I'm not exactly sure what a... Oh, for use with lamp, connect terminals, blah, 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 dimmer, day, night. Can't really see any military markings on it, but I think it would have to be. Looks unused, really. Okay, I don't know much about that. We have an original cord here. Looks kind of 1940s or 50s. I think it's Australian made. It says Australia on the collar there. So is it? It's almost like a periscope. You have an angled mirror. I don't know. I'm at a loss with that one. I'll have to research it. What have I got? A little tag written here. What's this? Oh, that's just a code from where I got it from. So that will certainly have a collectability. I'm just not exactly sure what it does, and I wouldn't hazard a guess as to what it's worth. Research required there. Okay, more Raptor. We got more model cars, maybe? We have. That looks in better condition. Another Israel-made one. A Pontiac. Okay, more. We have a whole collection. This one has its doors. Is that another Mustang? No, it's a Corvette Stingray. There you go. I don't know my cars very well, do I? And this one looks the same as the other one we had, which is a... Oh, this is a Thunderbird. Oh yeah, I guess it's slightly different. Made in Israel. Wow. I wonder if they're going to have much value. I'll have to research those as well. Okay, we have some more yo-yos in here. An advertising one, Rosella Soup. It's a metal one. I don't think it's brass. No, it's certainly not brass. But pretty cool having an advertising yo-yo. Probably from the 60s. Rosella Gold Label Soup. So nice. That will have better value than the other one. What was this one down here? More of a classic Fanta one. Now, some of the Fanta and Coke yo-yos from the 60s and 70s, it's a genuine Russell yo-yo. They can be worth quite a bit. This one looks in reasonable condition. Not all scratched up. So that one might be a good one to put on eBay. Well, if I can work out a price, it'll go in the shop. The notepad at the end of this episode is going to be interesting because I don't know what half of this is worth. Oh, this is a handheld game, what, from the early 80s maybe? Time and Fun Condor. Don't know the game off the top of my head. Original box. And, oh, it looks in great condition. Oh, there's a spare battery that looks a bit bulged. Let's hope there's none in it. So these things are very collectible. Original packaging is going to make a difference too. I'll just have to check out if that's a sought-after game. This one, Oil Panic Nintendo. Original box again. So these, oh, look at that, that's mint. These things could well be very good eBay items. Instruction booklet. And let's open it up. Oh, that's in magnificent condition. Okay, I think that's going to have some good value. Let's hope there's no corroded batteries in here. No, the batteries have been removed. That's great. So that's an excellent example. I just don't know how desirable this particular game will be. What have we got in the bottom here? Something heavy. This is a cover from a service station where they used to fill the fuel tanks, the underground fuel tanks. This is a cover that went over the top with the embossed Shell logo. Has a brass locking tab. It's quite rusty, but it's complete. And that, I'm thinking, will be at least $50, maybe more. Original service station cover plate. Pretty happy to find that. What's in the bottom here? Oh, that's a piece of paper fell out of one of those games. Oh, that's Oil Panic. Okay. That's all that's in the box, but we've got some pretty good value. Be interesting to see what a small box, what it's going to hold value-wise. I'm looking forward to researching these. I'll be back with you shortly. Well, we've hit the jackpot with this lot. I've really enjoyed researching this. We've got some dollars. I think this is the single best value box I've found in my shed so far. Let me go through them. I've got the notepad here. The totals on the next page. The cars, the Israel-made model cars, are all 1960s era. I think I did find the brand. I can't remember what it was. I did a list yesterday. A couple of different brands, I think. Sabra is written in the middle there. But yeah, the top name was Kragstan. But anyway, they're all 60s era classic American type vehicles. Reasonable condition, would certainly suit a restorer. People devote their own YouTube channels to restoring these model cars. And the prices, I've gone, where did I put those in here somewhere? 10 for the Mustang with no doors, 30, 20, 30, 30. Yeah, so that's what I've put on those. That's what they'll be going priced at in the shop. What else did we have on this page here? The yo-yos, I went 80 on the Fanta one. And there's lots of different ones. If you search eBay, there's lots of Coke ones, there's lots of Fanta ones. Some of them, like this one, say Championship. Some say Super. The 70s era ones were made in the Philippines, genuine Russell yo-yo. This one's in pretty good condition because they often got scuffed up a lot by hitting the ground. And they started to lose their paintwork. So I think 80 on that should be a pretty easy get. I could not find any Rosella Soup yo-yos. This is more from the 50s or maybe 60s. And I did find a few other advertising ones, but not a Rosella one. And some of them were listed for sale in auctions for over $100. So I think I just went 60 on this one. The other one, I think, is a Canadian one. The stickers or the paperwork's gone off the middle of it. This is more 1950s. And was it Cheerio, if I remember correctly? So I think I just went 20 on that one because it doesn't have any branding left on it. Where did I put that one? Up here somewhere, yeah. $20. The gun sight, these are still worth big money, and 300's probably not unrealistic. I found a few different ones. I didn't find the exact same one. I'm definitely going to run this through eBay if it doesn't sell through the shop. Now, I'm going to put all this in the shop, but valuable things like this, I'm happy for them to sit there, and if they don't sell, when we close up, I'll then put them on eBay. So I'm not going to haggle on price or anything because I know I'll get good money on eBay. I've written 300 down on that one. Oh, you may have noticed 750. This is apparently a very rare, almost museum piece. It's World War II. It's Air Force, and these sights were used in the gun turrets of things like the Lancaster bomber for sighting enemy planes, I believe, and it has a nighttime and a daytime setting. And apparently they're extremely rare to find with the original box. I couldn't find this identical one anywhere. I found one very similar that was listed for sale for over $2,000, and it had quite a lot of watches on the auction. It hadn't sold, but still, I think it was at about $3,000. So I believe, and AI told me that it's a very, very rare item and worth up to $1,000. It seemed quite confident in that, but then AI is confident in everything it tells you, even if it's wrong. I've written down 750. If it sells at 750 through the shop, that's fine. If it doesn't, I will certainly throw it on eBay down the track. That's all we've got here, I think. Oh, these things, the values are over the page. More surprises there. And I'll move the stuff off the bench and we'll have a look at the top stuff that I've got the prices here. Righto, the other things are on the bench now, and as you may have seen from the notepad, I went $20 on the weight. Now, I'm pretty sure it is a chaff cutter weight, and I did a bit of checking, and they did have a sliding bar set up on the large chaff cutters on farms, and they had a weight that kept the pressure on the rollers to feed the chaff in, and they were a sliding weight, so they often got misplaced, and I found them around farms for years before someone actually told me they were from a chaff cutter. I put $20 on that. Don't forget to guess at what it weighs. This item I cleaned up a little bit just to make it look a lot sort of nicer. It's still got all its own patina, but it does show that it's copper and all the fittings are brass. And I think it's homemade. There's no brand on it. And I think it was used for something like running petrol to a petrol Kero tractor, like a homemade little fuel tank that you could drip some through, or perhaps for a carbide lamp, although I don't think so because it hasn't got a jet. Now, an acetylene lamp or a carbide lamp requires water, a water reservoir, and the water is dripped through onto calcium carbonate to make acetylene gas, and you light that and that gives you illumination. I don't think it's for that unless it had another part to it. It could have well been just simply an oiler that had some sort of lubrication, maybe like kerosene, that dripped through onto the bearings of an engine, although kerosene's not the best lubrication. But it might have been kerosene to lubricate something else, like a rock saw that needs a little bit of lube. Something along those lines. I think it's homemade. It's just not finished nice enough to be a commercial made item, but it's got so much character. And I think I've got $20 written on that. As for scrap, I didn't weigh it up, but it's probably only worth about $5 for scrap. It would be a shame to scrap something like that. Yes, unknown copper tank, I wrote $20. This tool is a riffler file or rasp. And I do remember it now, and it's used for, one this large is probably used for making, not wagons, carriages or timber work that needed rasping or smoothing in corners and to round it off, or possibly for leather work like saddles. But basically they're curved to get into places where you can't get a normal rasp. They're beautifully marked each end, and it actually says George Barnsley warranted. It probably dates to the 1900s, maybe even a little earlier, but possibly for carriage building or something like that. I think I went $20 on that as well. So interesting old piece. The big mallet, I've actually found an old shovel handle that fitted. It's a little bit not quite right because the end of the shovel bows a little bit and it doesn't fit neat, but it's jammed in tight and it looks much better. I think those mallets were used after a bit of checking for hammering in fence posts or droppers or something, because it doesn't then split the timber so much if it's timber on timber. Jobs where if you used a steel sledgehammer it would cause damage. It would certainly pack a decent wallop if you're swinging that. We talked about the ballot box. I think that's what it is. I think I put $20 on that. And the price on the Shell service station cover, possibly over a fill point or where there was a dipstick or something like that, or an inspection hole. Quite rare. I found a Caltex one online for about 200, and someone was advertising an Ampol one, and I think it had sold for 150 or maybe a little bit more, and they didn't have that latch. This one's complete with the locking latch and the brass nut. Most things related to fuel were made out of brass because brass doesn't spark. So it's a nice early service station cover plate, the classic Shell logo, and I'm going to ask 150 on that. That's over the page. Let's look at the price of these things though. I've gone 150 on the WWII TECH Condor game and 350 on the Nintendo Oil Panic game. They sell for that. I found some online almost as good as mine, but I think mine's absolutely mint. I didn't see any as clean, and it sold. The one I saw online sold with about 38 bids for about $350 or $340, something like that. The seller was offering free postage, but that's neither here nor there on these things. That's a beautiful example, and these are presuming they work. I haven't found batteries to check them yet, but 150, 350. These things are very collectible. Early 1980s in absolutely mint condition with the packaging, and assuming they work, we're going to get those sort of figures. Look at the total, $2,190, and I think that's quite achievable. It's going to take someone special to buy that reflector gun sight, but who knows? And I reckon I'd get that maybe a bit more on eBay, because that's where you find the special people, saying special nicely, of course. But if it sells through the shop, well, even better. And we've got a really interesting mix of stock to put in the shop this weekend. Really enjoyed unpacking this box. Fantastic. That takes our total to over $35,000 now. So this was an absolute ripper box to unpack. There could well be more of these, because I've been stashing stuff aside for eBay for over 20 years, and I've just totally forgotten some of the stuff I've owned. Some of it's even appreciating in price even more. Occasionally, like the car manuals, which you would have seen in a recent video, they're not worth what they used to be, but that's okay. I've got to sort it all out anyway, and we're getting a pretty good total. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following along on the journey with me. Your moral support is fantastic. All your comments are even better. Your thumbs up keep me going. And thanks very much to the members that have joined, and they are getting first dibs on some things. I've sold a few items, actually. I nearly sell something from every video, but often when it goes public, I get a lot of emails. But I really appreciate everyone's support, because I know most members just joined to help the channel. That is appreciated. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.